Woof! Hello, everyone. It popped onto the screen. I was expecting that screen. And it popped onto this screen. Hello, welcome to Tuesday's Hall Pass. We have two dog things. That's us. There we are. And today we're going to talk about something because that I hope might help some people in getting over a little bit of a barrier on looking at multiple platforms in order to sell stuff, because it's actually something that can help you an awful lot is if you do look at utilizing multiple platforms. We use basically 5 right now. Those are 5 main ones. We still have a big main one, which our big main one is eBay, but we are listing on other platforms as well. So we wanted to take you through how we go about it, or how in most cases I go about it, and then Rick adds to it. So I'm going to pop him into the screen right here since he's joining us. And speak.
Oh, do I have to?
Well, so I know that your mic is working. It helps.
Yeah, no, the mic is working, but the color is awful. Jeez. They look very red. Give me a second.
Okay, I can.
There we go.
Better?
There. I'm happy. I can live with that.
But so hi everyone, thanks for popping in and joining us here. So today, as I said, we're going to be going through how we list on eBay, Etsy, Facebook, and whatnot. So those are the 4 main platforms that we use. The 5th one is Max Sold, and we'll show you how to actually list on Max Sold when we do our Max Sold auction, which is a live close this Thursday at 8 p.m. So you can watch us close, and you can also, we'll show you how to list on there on that as well. But a big hello to, which way do you want me to go, Rick? This way or that way?
That way's good.
Okay. A big hello to everybody.
For the squeaky voice Craig to make an appearance.
On Thursday, not today.
Thursday.
Thanks to everybody who's joined us here. Hello to Janet and Tina, Donna, Nellie, Emily, YKG Femme Finds. Yay! Let's see. Rick.
Yes.
Diana. So many names. Holly, Max,
I'm here.
Heather, Sherry, who's doing her very first Whatnot. So if we can find a link for that, we'll make sure we put it in. Lisa, Mr. Greg, who's on the computer today, and Joel, who's on sports. Go sports! Oh yeah, that's on tonight. Kendra, ABC, thanks for popping in to join us here. And yeah, so today we're going to talk about what we have in our some of our items in auctions. I will say that the last week, and I don't know how you guys were, the last week has been really slow for us on a lot of our platforms. We've sold a few things that have just been sort of completely bizarre. So today, out of the blue, a nutcracker that we've had listed for like 18 months for $80. We got an offer for $60, and I could not have accepted that offer any faster than I did. Rick was like, did you accept the, oh damn, yes, it's accepted. And luckily there's somebody who actually had pre-listed with payment availability, so it like got paid, boom, right off the bat. Oh yeah, Sherry B. Okay, well I'll find that in a moment when I'm actually going to show you our Whatnot page as well. So that was oh, and Andrew, hello. So we've had weird sales here and there. We've had a Facebook sale here and there. We've had like an Etsy sale out of the blue. We've had it's been a very, very low, like low key in terms of our sales, but it's been the weirdest stuff that sells. We also are doing quite a few more shows on Whatnot, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the Whatnot side of things. But again, for us, Whatnot's become a platform for us that allows us to do stuff really fast. It's kind of like a combo of eBay and Max Sold for us, because not so many like you don't have to do tons of pictures. You don't have to do lots of prep. So last Saturday we did a show. We were part of a ephemera show, Ephemerama, that had been put together actually by Franklin Hill Ventures, who you saw on our show. If you go back in our Whatnot show a couple of weeks ago, Franklin Hill Ventures was on there, Stuart and Amy. and a woman named Lillian Penguin Boss. They put that together. So that was last Saturday, and we did a show for an hour, a whole bunch of different people on there, and we sold about 15 packages. They're like different to 15 different people. We sold, of those 15 people, like 14 of them had never bought from us before, and we sold like $250 in literally 1 hour.
That's good to see, though.
And yeah, so and
Particularly
then
in a category we don't often list things in.
yeah, we're not a big ephemera person. We have lots, so we're going to try and get to that. They were doing this one thing, and then this Saturday we're actually this Thursday, to right after the Mac sold, we're doing our Thursday night toy show is Monster High Dolls, and then on Saturday we're doing Vinylmations for an hour. We're going to do a pop-up Vinylmation show, and then on Sunday we have our Mac sold pickup, because our Mac sold closes, and we have right after our Mac sold pickup, we have a 3 p.m. We're part of a book fair that has been put together by Renee Dunbar-Jones, who you saw from Rat's Stash. So she is actually going to be, she's putting this, she's got a 2-day book fair that we're part of, that the Be Happy sale. So we're going to do books too. So we're trying all sorts of different things on Whatnot. But we are so arsehole. We are still listing.
Family channel.
We are still listing on our other platforms on a fairly regular basis. So we're going to show you today eBay, Etsy, and this is the two that scare people, I think, a lot. Well, even Etsy scares some people. It scared us originally. Facebook, which seemed to scare a lot of people when I posted about craft. Hey, Don. And Whatnot. So we're going to show you what we're prepping for our first live auction. So Joel says he wants to do more Whatnots when he settles into his new place. Yeah, he's moving. Janet has 0 sales on any platform today.
We've had a few days like that in the past. It happens.
Yeah, those sort of days come
Shut
up.
up and list, as someone we used to know said.
Huh?
Shut up and list.
I think we said that, didn't we?
Oh, no, I think it was Teresa Cox from the Boss Group.
Oh, okay. So let's put on our doggy glasses.
Oh. I had one earlier. It didn't help.
No, and I should have had one because I
was a woo-wooing.
I was really bitchy to Rick a few minutes ago.
I'm over it.
I'm going to put on my Sesame Street glasses. Since
You're lucky it happens so often. I don't take it personally anymore.
That's very true. So since I feel like I'm teaching a little bit today, I'll put on my Sesame Street glasses. So there we go. So you can see. These are my Sesame Street glasses. Big Bird, Oscar. So this is my pair glasses. So, and Lisa, oh, you went back to buy the Richard Simmons mug. Yay!
I saw that in the group, the Thrift Hall of Fame group. Very nice of you, Donna.
I didn't see that you went back to buy it, but yeah, everybody was like, buy it. And somebody actually was, buy it, I want it. Diana saying eBay is dead. I don't know how you're doing on your Facebook post, Diana. Let me know about that. And then Lisa is on her way to the UK. She's literally sitting in the Toronto airport right now, getting Wi-Fi in front of a Wendy's right before her flight at 9:30.
You're going to need a bigger boot.
With her empty suitcases that she's flying out there with. So, but yeah, so today, since we are talking about that, I thought the easiest thing to show you would be to start off on the platforms that we usually list on a lot. eBay being our #1 platform. So what we're going to do is sort of take you through some of the things that we have ready. I'm going to actually write some of the stuff up while I'm doing this, and Rick may end up having to chat a little, even though he wasn't supposed to, because if I'm typing, you're just staring at me looking down, and that's not a good thing. So Rick can come up with things to say, possibly. So let me just pop to.
We'll see how that works.
We'll see how well that works.
In theory,
well.
In theory, it should, but.
So when you're going to eBay, what we want you to do is go to your seller hub. And on your seller hub, you go to the listing section, and that's where you can see, obviously, your active listings. But you also can go into there, and I'm going to show you this on desktop and on the phone. You can also access your draft listings in here. So this is actually where we're going to access some draft listings. You can see we've actually got 15 drafts built up right now that we're going to be launching shortly. But first and foremost, what I want to say is when we're thinking about it and when we're actually out thrifting, this is one of the most helpful things. Our cell phone is one of the most helpful things that we can find out there, because when we actually search for something on eBay, and I'm going to see if I can do a picture of one of them right now. Let me just do a picture of this doll. So I am actually going to flip to my app here. So this is actually my phone right now. So you can see this is my phone. I'm on eBay. Oh, what are you doing, Rick?
Yeah, get rid of my screen from in behind you.
Yeah. There we go. So this is our screen that we've got right now. And if I happen to go in here, this is a couple of things I do. One, I'm trying to identify what this doll is. So this is the doll that I've got right here. It's a Monster High doll. I know who it is because I'm actually prepping for this, but I'm going to show you on my phone. I look for this, and a lot of times you're actually able to find something. And when you scroll down, you can see right on here, there is the actual item, Monster High Laguna Skull Neck. Now, I can click on visit. This is how I do this when I'm in the store. And then right from here, I'm going to scroll down here. I know I'm going to be buying this. So I actually scroll as far down as I possibly can, and I hit sell one like this.
You mean you're going to be listing it?
I know I'm going to be listing it at some other time. It's given me some information that I need to know. Like in this case, it's actually got, I'm not going to keep that title. And then while I'm in the store, all I do is hit save for later. And so now it's gone from there. Now there's two places it is. In my selling platform, you can see when I click on selling and I go to active, if I scroll down, there's the drafts, and there we go. There is that draft right there. So I can actually access it on my phone, and I can change the draft up here. But for me, for the purposes of today, it's actually going to be easier for me to pop onto the actual screen to do this on here. So I'm going to refresh this screen, which we were just on. And now you'll see there's the Monster High Laguna Blue Skulltimate Roller. Now, this is literally what I end up doing. I've gotten to there. Now, what I want to do is first figure out what is this worth? So I'm going to up here, I'm going to look up, in this case, that's Laguna Blue. And it's because I've got the name on that thing here, Skulltimate Roller. So Skulltimate. And you can see, it's, again, when I started typing this on eBay, especially this is on your desktop, it's actually populating things for me. So I can get as detailed as I want to on here. This is Roller Maze. So I can put that whole thing in there, or I can just take what I want in there. I don't want to have the word Skulltimate. Maybe that's too many words. I know it's Roller Maze. So I'm going to click on this. So again, this particular doll, I can see now here. I can look at the condition of the doll that I've got and be managing. This doll is in pretty good shape. She's got her original outfit. She's got her original thing here. She's got this. She's got her fins. She's missing her leg fins, which happens an awful lot. If I didn't know who this was and I couldn't find it from a Google image, I could also go to Monster High Identification, which is the MH Collector Checklist. And within this checklist, again, this is exactly what we do. Within this checklist on here, I am going to look up what I've got, and I can check it by the character. In this case, I know that this character is Abby, right? So Laguna Blue. Sorry, Laguna. So I'm going to scroll down here because there's lots of characters. And again, this is another way you can look up in this particular thing. I can look this up. There's Laguna Blue. There's 76 of them here, and I could actually flip through this one by one if I couldn't find a Google image. But so far, especially with a lot of dolls, Monster High and things like that, I am finding that they're easy to find. As you saw, I found it on Google, and I was able to pull this up. But what this does is allow me to find Skulltimate's Roller. There it is. And now, just for my purposes, I'm going to take a look at the images that are on this and see not a lot on the image side of things. If I back up, it tells me everything here. She's supposed to be wearing a black dress with one teal strap, pink stripes along the bottom. Yeah, that's what she's got on. Her knee pads are missing. So I'm missing her knee pads and I'm missing her little fins. But I've got her roller boots and I've got her dress and I've got her hat. So I can start thinking, how does this compare from a pricing standpoint? Well, let's look at closed. You can never look at live because live doesn't mean anything. You only want to look at what people have sold. Actually, this, she was one of those. I sold that one already. I literally picked this one up today. And those fins always fall off. Yeah, I could replace the fins if I want to.
He's had work done.
I can go down here and see. I could split this up and sell just the cap for $6. So she looks like she's about a $10, $15 doll. $8. There's one $8 from the UK, but there's 20.
Heather had a question, honey.
Yep.
It's how did you find that Monster High checklist?
How did I find this?
Yeah, did you Google it? Or?
Yeah, actually, it's easy. If you do Google, you can just Google Monster High identification, and you will find the Monster High checklist in there. This is one of the best ones that there is for all that detail.
Thank you.
There is another toy site that I'm going to talk about next week that I just found that I got to look at. I'm just doing some research on right now. That site is actually available also to everybody who is on our research deck, which you get if you are a member of the Kennel Club. So you'll see some people there have little icons beside their names. That's their icons because they've supported us at the Kennel Club, which is a monthly fee through YouTube of $2.99. And it hopefully is ways to help you find things and ways to improve your selling and improve your profits and improve your sales. So all the stuff we do for you, we do for free, but we'd love it if you supported us through this. So part of that is the little emojis. You get the little brand thing. And there is a deck that is a research deck. And I'll post how you find that research deck in Craft. But normally, if you go into YouTube, you'll be able to find that under members only videos. So I can do a post on that afterwards. But so this is where we are right now. We're looking at this. So I've got an idea on what this is. She's a $20, $10, $15 doll. So I'm probably going to sell her for like $10. Well, you know what? I think I'm not even going to put her in there. I think I'm going to wait and decide for her. She's going to go on Whatnot. So this is the process that I literally go through when I'm looking at everything. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm doing a Monster High show. So instead of putting her into eBay for $10, I think I'm going to put her in Whatnot because I can do it live as part of a show where I'm doing some other stuff. So what else do I have? Well, I have this really interesting little item that Rick actually found. And this is a set of monkey jungle cards.
I love my monkeys.
Now, I don't know if you looked these up.
The monkey jungle is actually
it's a place in Florida.
Tourist attraction in Florida. It's been around for a long time. They have
Miami.
a variety of things that they've sold in their gift shop. These are sweet because every single card has a different monkey with a different saying underneath. They are
Show me your openers. Huh?
They're adorable.
Jen, again, it'll cost you $5 to see them. So we actually, this is part of one of our challenges from a couple of months ago, is to look up playing cards, and this is something that we found. I don't even remember where we found this, Rick. Do you?
Oh, that was in one of my cigar boxes. Whenever we go to estate sales, I always pick up the cigar boxes that have all of the bits and bobs, and it's like the junk drawer that your grandpa would have had. That's where I got a lot of the mechanical pencils and leads.
Okay.
And that was in one of those.
So
it probably would have cost maybe $2 for the whole box. So penny.
Okay. So he did look them up, and this would be the sort of thing that I'll do or Rick will do. And so we're going to show you what we've done is we've already populated this one into here. So we've got a draft in there that's for these vintage monkey cards. So when you look at building the draft, again, try to write your item title in English. This is the thing that eBay has recently said. Try and write it as if you were speaking it to somebody. So this is vintage monkey jungle playing cards from, you don't have to put from, Miami, Florida attraction. So you could put vintage at the end if you wanted to. But the idea is to make sure that you're putting this in English. So not playing cards, Monkey Jungle, Florida, Miami attraction. Like that's not how you would ever speak to somebody. Hopefully, Monkey Jungle, Florida. Like you would not speak. So try and write things that way. Underneath it, we put a custom label. A12 is the box that we're going to actually store these in. So Rick had got this title. Actually, he built that title from looking at other solds in collectibles paper. Now, there is a playing card category, so we've got it in there. The brand you fill in, again, in this particular case, if you notice, these item specific are all optional. That means you don't have to fill in one. Not one single thing has to be filled in here. You can, but not one single thing needs to be filled in.
I opted to put the brand in there because of the high volume of searches related to brand.
That's what I was just going to say, which is if you look at the things you see there, you'll see that people are looking up brand 26,000 times. So if you're trying to decide, do I need to put in this? Nobody is searching for themes. Nobody is searching for age. But 26,000 searches in the past 30 days were for brand. So Rick added in the brand of remembrance. Country, we never worry about the California thing. When it's got custom specifics, again, don't do them. I repeat, custom specifics are worthless to you. Nobody is really searching them. Adding in anything, typing in your own versions is not going to help you from searches. People who search by name of the item, Monkey Jungle, will find you. You don't have to put in a thing here for add a custom specific and name attraction. And under the attraction, put Monkey Jungle. Like, you don't have to do this because nobody is searching under those things. I'm going to put it in there, and it's just a waste of time. So I always remove those. Item condition used. Now, here's the thing that some people say our version of what we put in is different. We've done this for so long that we are used to doing it. We've been selling on eBay 27 years now. And our conditions, some people argue that when you're talking about condition, you really should be saying that something, you shouldn't be saying something is excellent or very good or anything else. I don't believe that, frankly. I think that people want to know what you believe the condition is. I always try to think that we look at stuff and say, if we were collectors, what would we consider the condition of this to be in?
Yeah, it's also a case of under promise, over deliver.
Yeah, and we have tons and tons of feedback that say, oh my God, so much better than I thought it would be. Things like that. We don't put things in as near mint if they don't look like they literally came off a shelf. We do put things as new if the item is new, but the packaging is not. But we explain down in the thing. And if someone hasn't read it, again, we've never really had that many problems. So in this case, where we've got to the condition, because I'm looking at the condition of this, the box, I'll just pop this. The box is in okay shape. The cards themselves, though, are in what I would consider to be excellent shape. You can see, even if you look at that edge, the edges of them, this is what someone's going to look at if they're a deck card collector. Clean. They're not worn on the corners. The images are all bright. Every page is bright. So I'm going to call this Excellent Plus. That's how I'm going to describe it. And I'm going to describe the box as being in not as great condition, like in very good plus condition. So if somebody gets them, again, they're going to be happy. It really, to me, I think these could be considered almost near mint, the cards. So in here, we're going to add into the description in here, in excellent plus shape. Look barely played with. So again, I'm going to copy this right off the bat, copy, and I'm going to bring this down into here, and I'm going to put it in there. Now, this is actually what Rick has written up as his words: Vintage Monkey Jungle playing cards made in the USA by Remembrance. Cards are germ-proof by Corobex. Monkey Jungle is in Florida. These playing cards feature individual pictures of monkeys with woody sayings on each card. In excellent shape, look barely played with. All right, so I'm repeating that there. Monkey Jungle, where humans are caged and monkeys run wild. Now, the one thing that's missing, obviously, in this is our photos. So there's a couple of different ways that you can actually do photos from this. And we're going to show you two different ways right now. The first way is I'm taking pictures of these, or Rick is taking pictures of these. If you're working on your own, yes, I'll often note package damage in the title too for new items. Yep, that's a very smart idea. And again, this is how we're normally doing it. Emily said she loves digging through the junk. So no typing while you're talking to your kids or when you're trying to know.
Elisa said that's a whole heck of a lot for description. It's more than Craig would type.
I would never type. I can tell you
cheaply.
right now, I would never be typing anything other. I would not put they are germ proof. I would not put all this. I wouldn't even put they feature monkeys. That would all be gone. But this is Rick's description, so I'm going to leave his description.
Thank you.
You will see
it does say germ proof by Corobex on the edge of the card, the
Yeah.
box.
So again, so there's a couple of ways that you can do this for pictures. You can take your pictures yourself, and then one of two ways. One, you can actually load them to your desktop. So I like building a lot of the stuff on the desktop. It's just a personal preference for me. I love building stuff on the desktop. I like seeing it bigger. It's just the way that I like doing it. You can do it all on your phone as well, but I'm going to show you a couple of different ways. So first off, in this particular case, what we've done is I got to upload photos. I actually have a file in here. I've got it under our YouTube folder right now, which is our Hall Pass shows, learn how we list. So here's some photos that I have ready for us to talk about today. View extra.com. So here's the Monkey Jungle pictures. So what I can do with these is I can literally click on multiple pictures in here and drag and drop them over. And because we have 24 pictures now, we've got all these extra pictures of the monkey. So I'm going to take all of those as well and drop them over into there. Close that down. And now I've got my listing right here. My main picture, which is this photo. And then I've got the Monkey Jungle cards that are all on here. So we can take a look at them. If we wanted to, we can take a look at this particular photo and I can decide I want to crop it. I think it's a little too big. It doesn't need to have all those things just there again. And I'm going to apply that. You can do all that sort of stuff and save. Make sure you save anytime you do something like that. So I've saved and now I can go back out of here. And here is my new picture going into my main photo. So I built this. This is obviously, I've really made the page big. If it's doing on a regular size here on 100% on my screen, this is what I'd normally be seeing, but I wanted you guys to see the whole thing. And then with that, I can rearrange them if I want this one here, any of that kind of stuff. If I want to show a monkey first, we can do that. Lots of different ways you can do all the switching around. So we go down here and all we have to do now is put in our shipping. If you're from Canada and you're shipping on eBay, you're going to have different shipping ways of doing this. I'm showing this on eBay US right now. So for us, our standard shipping is in the US using USPS. We could add international shipping services here. So if I wanted to add in Canada, I can add this in if I happen to be in the US. And I can add my services here, international delivery. The way we do is standard international shipping. And then in here, we can say ship worldwide or ship to a destination. So I can pick, I just want to ship these to Canada because I don't think anybody wants to go to the monkeys, but I still know it's going to be $17.50 for a flat rate. And that's how we always love doing our shipping, as flat rate. I have 3 days handling in there and then where it's coming from. These are all my excluded locations, tons and tons of excluded locations, 183 excluded locations. If you wanted to here, again, this is going in as a potential. Rick, are we auctioning this or no? You're buying it now.
No, we're doing a buy it now.
As a buy it now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my promoted listings. Again, I'm doing everything now at 2%. So I'll do it.
I didn't factor that into my pricing.
No. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop back up to my pricing and I'm going to move this to $28.88. And that's going to cover my 2%. Well cover my 2%. And now I'm ready and I can actually list this item and boom, it's up. Now, once I've done that, I just want to show you a different way of considering doing this. You can build it. And again, I could add my photos in here. So I'm going to show you this for a second, and I'm not going to make it completely real. I'm going to take this here.
Now, Craigie.
Yeah.
Stuart made a comment. Card decks can go letter mail in Canada.
In Canada.
We're actually listing on .com, so we won't ship letter mail in Canada.
We don't ship anything without tracking. That's our so that's our one way of doing things. And although they can go letter mail, depending on where and who you take it to, they can refuse letter mail because they are too thick. So you can be on the screen, right? So here's the other way of potentially doing it. Here you can see there's the Laguna High. I'm on my phone now, and in my Laguna High, add pictures, and I can find those pictures right in here, and there she is. 1, 2, 3, upload, and my pictures are uploaded. That's it. I can do my cropping and everything here. I can do all my changes and everything in here. This is where if I wanted to write a description, I can speak the description. But now it's going to hear me saying I can speak the description, and that's going to end up being my description. So that's the wrong thing. And then right now, again, I'm just going to save this for later. But there's also one more way that recently got added to this. I just click out of here for a second. Rick, can you answer Sherry's comment, please? I got to get out of this.
What, about first class should only be about $4? We actually, because we use the cross-border shipper, we have to build in an extra $1.50 or $2 to cover off the cost for our cross-border shipping service. We're also doing flat rate. We charge the same price regardless of destination. So sometimes we make a little on one sale and we lose money on another sale. It's kind of blobby, but at the end of the year, we're never really out shipping across the board.
We have to cover off eBay's roughly 20% fees on that as well. So when we're doing this, we're looking at sending it the farthest away from us with 20% increase and the potential of 50 cents to $1 extra for us to be using it. We haven't had any issues with anybody so far in doing this. So
$17.50 was for Canada, Sherry. Shipping in Canada is horribly expensive.
We have $6.50 was the US side of things, and $17.50 was for Canada. Irregardless. So again, let's pop onto there. There you can see I added those pictures from the Laguna High, and they're already there. But here's the other thing. So this is a different way that Rick literally came to me. This is why I yelled at him. He came to me 10 minutes before the show and says, do it this way. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So here's a new way you can also do something. So you go into your draft on eBay and click on See Photo Options. Let's make this a little bit smaller. See Photo Options. Upload photos from mobile. Now, I can click on this, and this is something new that I did not know. I can click on this, and it is actually sending
notices to our mobile devices.
It sent, because we're both listed on there, it actually sent an email to Rick, can you show yours? Because mine disappeared already. Hold on.
Yeah.
So it came up on there, and I got it on mine, a little ding saying you can add. So Rick's now going to just go on to his, and he can add those photos from his device. So he's actually going to sign on.
All right. So what it does is it actually takes me right to that listing. And then it is asking me to upload photos. So that was the Richard Burton, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I've got the photos here. So I'm just going to pick them. And then there's an upload button. Upload. So it's uploading. And Craig, if you want to actually go back to your screen and click on the X, it will actually
there they are.
show you the photos. So I'm going to click done here and then close. And now the photos are loaded for Craig.
And as you can see, in this case, I did do a much larger description of this. And why? In this particular item, what it is it's something that we bought about a year ago. And it is these really neat photos or images that, see if I can make it bigger, watercolor paintings of Broadway or movie actors. It kind of looks like what you'd find inside Sardi's.
It's reverse glass painting.
Yeah, it's reverse glass painting, and it says BAR. We've never been able to identify who the actual artist of those are. But in this case, I did go. So there's no history on this. We can't find it in Terapeak. We can't find it anything like this in Worth Point. There's nothing anywhere. So we didn't call it an illustration. I called it.
I think they're caricatures, aren't they?
I called it. It's a watercolor to me because it is a watercolor on glass. So I've got in here Richard Burton, Elizabeth Taylor, Virginia Woolf, 1970s original watercolor framed. And then because I didn't know about it, I did actually have to go. You can see again, there's nothing in here that I had to put in. My additional, I just put original, but I didn't add anything else to it. I didn't add Richard Burton's name or anything because if someone's going to search for Richard Burton, he'll find it. In very good plush shape, some age wear, see description. So this is where I got wordy. One of a kind original watercolor on glass. Richard Burton, Elizabeth Taylor from the iconic movie Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Dates from sometime in the 60s or early 70s. Stars are painted on glass with a plain background. Looks like the type of image you find at Broadway at Sardi's. No idea who the artist is. Backing paper has small age spots from poor storage. Still looks amazing on display. Framed in black wood frame. Look for matching artwork. So I went an extensive thing on that. We're doing this as an auction. We paid $20 for these, so we're actually going to auction. We got 4 of them. We're going to auction them off starting at, I think I'm actually going to move this up now to 78.
Yeah, I was just going to say that seemed a bit too low.
Maybe even 95. We'll start them at 95 and see what happens with them. And then here we've got, Rick said that's not enough for those, so we'll move that to 15.
I would do $17.50 for that.
Okay. Because it's glass and heavy. Then down here, we've added shipping services. We could add international. I'm not bothering. And then we've got everything else in here. I could promote this listing, but I'm not because it's an auction. So I don't promote auctions. And then I'm just going to save this till later in case we don't have all the right stuff that's inside there. So that's...
You're being called out.
I said, don't get too wordy unless, like, and we'll show, like, I'll see if I can show you a couple of the other ones.
That needs an explanation, though.
Let me see if this one's not that wordy, I don't think. So this is there. Abstract cat travel mug, new inbox, mug is mint, box shows where. That's more of my typical kind of thing. But in the case, but this is something, this Romero Brito cup, it's kind of self-explanatory, and there's a few of them that have been on sale, so that's where I decided not to get wordy. Again, in here, what did I do in the Adam category? Required specific. So here I had to say it was a travel mug, say it was a brand, and say the color. I couldn't get away without them. But below it, I happened to pick up someone else's, and they filled in cats and abstract and ceramic and 16 ounce. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll leave it, but there's no reason to. Set includes 205,000 searches. Mug? Like, what am I going to put in? Like, Theme, cats. 62,000 people looked up cats. But when you get into here, features, occasion, service for, again, no numbers there. These used to be the things that filled in that god-awful thing. So
the blue dot.
Again, so that's how we do it for eBay. Now, how do we do the same thing for Etsy? This is our Etsy store. There's 2 things that we want to think about that are a little different from Etsy than we think about when we're doing eBay. And that is 1, we can't do auctions. But 2, when we're listing stuff in there, you want to think about a different way to actually create the listing. So what we've done, click off in here. When you want to create something, you actually go to your shop. And in your shop, you have listings. That's over the side here. So in the listings here. So within the listings, we can add a listing by clicking up underneath. let's see, I don't know how to do this. Underneath this hall pass thing, which I can't get rid of, I think I can move it.
No.
There we go, add a listing. So you can see that. So we can click on add a listing, and it comes up blank. And this is where you can go through adding a photo. So whenever you want to do something, you can save things as drafts per se in Etsy, but you always have to add a photo. You can't do anything if you don't save it. You can save it as a draft, but you need some kind of photo. So I'm going to show you what we've done. What we do is we actually created some drafts. And over on the side here, you can see we have 56 live items. We have drafts of 7 items. So this is my draft. I put a generic picture in and I created the draft. And I created it so that I can copy it and I can make a new copy. I can save as a draft. And I just do this. There it is. I can do a lot of these. I can copy and I can change this and save as a draft. So I'm getting multiple things of these drafts that are sitting in here for me to then go in to add to. So this is what we're looking at here. So the difference in here. So I think one of the things, what was I going to put on Etsy? Oh, on Etsy, I was going to put this little guy. So this is a little planter, dog planter that we have that I thought was really cute for the Etsy sort of crowd, the vintage crowd. So I need to do a little cleaning inside, but I took pictures of it without that. So that
Does that say Japan on the bottom?
No, it doesn't say anything on the bottom. Nothing on the bottom at all. No markings. So in this case, I can pull up the draft that I was working on. Now, here's what I want to do. I'm going to go first over to the side here and go to Etsy itself. I want to go outside of me to see vintage dog planter. What are other people listing stuff at? Now, I can look this item up on eBay as well. How did I add my illustrations? Oh, I'll show you very simply. Let me do that in a second. I can go in here and look at that one's adorable puppy dog, $23 Canadian. So there, I can take a look and see if there's any like-minded things, what people are selling them for. This person's put a video on, which is really smart because it makes me stop because it moved as soon as my thing went over top of it. So take advantage of the videos where you can. But I'm seeing what these are. Again, I love this little sort of pattern to him. And so what I'm going to do is go back into here and in my draft, I'll show you how I built the draft. Back. Add a listing, and I just added any photo. I could actually add this as my photo and save that as the draft. Oh, it's too big. That image is too big. Let me crop that image. That's still too big. Well, you can add pretty well any image in there to make that draft up. I think with me, I went into Two Dogs Digs. I went into my logos where we have logo artwork, and I pulled a logo for Two Dogs Digs illustrations. Well, there, I can do that, and I can add that as a logo.
Yeah, she's actually asking how they were created.
Oh, how they were created?
Oh. I said you used to teach a college course in advertising, and one of your students was kind enough to draw a whole bunch of them for you.
Yes, and I also used Fiverr. I paid somebody to do some stuff for us on Fiverr. The Hall Pass logo is from Fiverr. Sorry, so I'm going back here. And again, so with the draft, adding the photo is the same kind of thing. If I'm doing this on, and I do mostly Etsy, I do on here. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to go to Two Dogs Digs where I had it, YouTube, Hall Pass, learn how we list. Where'd it go? Learn how we list. And there is the dog planter that I took the pictures of, and I'm going to drag them over. And all right, add photos. Always does this when I'm in the middle of trying to do something and it doesn't work the way I want it to. Learn how we list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll click on open instead of dragging them over. And then it's going to build them right here. So the primary image is going to end up turning, I'm going to delete this and it will turn that into my primary image. Below it, it's going to show you a cropped image. So you can adjust the thumbnail if you want. In many cases, you have to think about that. What ends up happening is if you adjust it, it becomes too big. So always remember with Etsy, whatever your main photo is, if you didn't take it in a square, it's going to make a square version of it. Then I don't have a video, but you can add a video in there the same way. And then here's where you're talking about in drafts. Now, the one thing you cannot do, as you can see, as soon as I did that, your title cannot contain more than 3 capital words. So in this case, I'm going to call this a vintage dog planter. I'm going to do a little bit more detail on the actual image later on. It's made by another company, finished product. I'm guessing that this is probably from the 60s. I can guess. Pretend play. No, it's not pretend play. I'm going to click that off and I'm going to type in here, vintage planter. And it will come up and say, here we are, indoor planter. So this is where it's going to go. It's going to come up and they'll find, and lets me know, it's going to find this item in all these different categories. I don't have to change a color. I don't have to choose a secondary color. I can choose, all of these things are optional, but I could put it in if I wanted to say that it's 5 inches wide. I have to go to inches, and that it's 6 inches tall. It's not upcycled. Style. Well, let's see what they got in here. Contemporary, Gothic, minimalist. So you may find things in here that actually you like, that you want to use. I'm going to use contemporary. That's not a holiday thing. I manually relist everything on here, and it's a physical item. Here's where you go into the vintage dog planter, gingham, blah, 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 blah. And then the more important things that you actually have to do in here is you have 13 tags that you're going to look at that you need to add. I know I'm typing really fast, Sandy, so I'm trying not to...
Ignore the spelling errors.
Yeah, I'm trying to type so that you're not watching me boringly do all that sort of thing. So... And tags, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to what those other vintage dog planters were. And I'm going to look up a couple of them and see what are these people putting in as their tags. So scroll down to the bottom of this and I will see that this person has no tags. Of course, because I want to get tags. Let me go to this one. There. Pottery, McCoy, wall decor, flower pot. So these are some of the things that you could look at as thinking as these are the tags that you might want to put in there. You can look up any of the ones that you're seeing in here, and you can go, what did they say? What are they looking at? Planter puppy. That's what they put in as a title. They think somebody's going to search planter puppy.
The key to using tags in Etsy, it's all search term related or driven. So you could put vintage planter, vintage pony, pony planter, ceramic planter, vintage ceramic. You use all of those different type of keywords, and if anyone types any of those shorter key phrases, then Etsy is going to have indexed them from either your title or the keywords. Not so much the description, it gives less weight to the description. So when you're listing on Etsy, the primary fields that will rank you are your title field and those tags. Those tags are super important.
So that's the easy way when you're going through this on Etsy. You can put your price in. Remember that if you put a price of $35 or more, it's going to push it higher on your search. So if you have a $25 item and you're going to charge $10 shipping, put it as a $35 item with free shipping. You're going to get pushed higher up in the search listings for them. And then set your own. We've set here a bunch of different shipping options that we built in. I'm not going to go into how you set all of those, but so we can actually pick a free and 15 Canadian, a free and free in Canada, a fabric one, which is $7.50. So we have these different ones set in that we can pick, and you can see we actually have 13 active listings to use this, 38 active listings to use the second one. They're all different. Sorry, I'm going to make that bigger. They're all different ways that you can set that all up. So again, saving that one as a draft because that's just where I want it to sit. Now it's sitting in drafts, and when I want to publish it, I can publish it. And I can do that with any of these others. And again, I build this so that every time I want to do something new in Etsy, I can run into the draft and there's already one sitting right there. I can also look at my expired items and fix them in here. These are things that we've had in. I can look at items that are inactive, which are items I've taken away from being active because I need better photos of these things. And again, this is our active listings up here. How do we determine our sell-through rates on Etsy? Easy on eBay. You haven't figured it out on Etsy. I actually don't have a way to figure out the sell-through rate other than the fact that we have about 50 items listed to 70 items listed. And our sell-through rate is much, much lower on Etsy than it is on eBay. But our prices in many cases are 20 to 30% higher. So it's a slower sale for us, but it is and they're less regular.
Yeah.
Now, if you were in the office, we got 700 plus on eBay. Lisa Boland has like 1,000, I think, on Etsy, and she is doing the opposite to us. So she's got about 70 on eBay. With her, she's seeing a much more of an Etsy kind of feedback to it. And I guess it's something that you asked that I think I can ask.
Well, there are some search tools that help you with rankings for various keywords and types of listings. Two that come to mind. The first is a website called eRank, and eRank actually will help you determine rankings for Etsy products. The second one is Everbee. Everbee gives you, I think, 7 or 10 free searches. It's a little bit more complicated to try to deal with, but it actually can help you figure out keywords for competitive products, etc. Sell-through rates are kind of a challenge on Etsy because it doesn't present the same solds the same way that a platform like eBay does. So you have to go to a third-party website. The first one that I would recommend would be eRank.
Andrew says he thinks there's a new ChatGPT Chrome plugin that you can help optimize your eBay titles and even write descriptions. That would scare me, the description side of things. But yeah, I guess you could look at that kind of thing too. And the ChatGPT stuff's kind of like a little too freaky for me. There is also, if you can use Flipper tool, like you can use companies that actually cross post. But if you're in Canada, you can't. That's the simple fact is you cannot use. There's no cross listing program that allows you to move from eBay to Etsy. In the States, there are a number of different ones, List Perfectly, and a couple of other ones in there. Now, I spent way too much time on the eBay side of things, so I'm going to actually sort of fast track you through the Facebook side and the Whatnot side. The Facebook side being next, because I saw a lot of people saying, when I posted in our craft group, the Canadian Resellers or Crazy Resellers and Fantastic Thrifters group, I said, your challenge for this week is going to be, it's a listing challenge for the month of April. Your challenge for this week is to post on a Facebook group. And I got, no. And it's really not that hard to do. It is not necessarily a fast turning over thing for sales, because depending upon what it is that you're selling and the price you're putting it on, but you can, especially if you're doing something that is very, very focused, you may find a group who wants exactly that type of thing. So here's what I'm going to show you on ours. Right now, I have some Polly Pockets, and in here, I went into the search in the top corner, Polly Pocket. I'm going to make this bigger, sorry. Bigger. I'm going to type in here. I can't see it. I made it too big. Polly Pocket up in this top corner here. And what I'm going to do is do a search for that right now. And when I search, I'm going to go down here to groups. And I'm going to click on the groups icon. And it allows me to see various different like groups that sell Polly Pockets. There's a Polly Pocket buy, sell, and trade with 5,700 members. There's a Canadian one that has 1,000 members. There's one that is buy, sell, and trade with 10,000 members. And I actually, here you'll see when it says visit, that's because I've joined this one, and I haven't joined the Canadian one, but I've joined this one. There's some that are smaller. Now, you can look up pretty well anything you wanted to if you get to this search results. We can go in here and we can talk about vintage fabric. And I go down again, down here to groups. There is true vintage fabric swap and sell. There's vintage fabric and notions, vintage fabric buy, sell, trade. There's all sorts of different places that you can find that are groups of people who actually are all in the same sort of world as you trying to sell. Vintage for auction with only 500 members in it. Sometimes you'll be able to find them that are for a country. There's Vintage Fabric D-Stash Australia. There's 13,000 people who are in this Australian D-Stash. Fabric Hoarder, 16,000 people. So there's lots of things like that. Yeah, so I'm not talking about Facebook Marketplace. I'm talking specifically about listing in a group. Now, what the key thing, if you're going to do that in anything, and I go back to that Polly Pocket one, is when you look at the group, you want to read the rules. So in this case, I'm going to go into this Polly Pocket Palace, and I'm going to take a look at what it says here, and I'm going to look at the rules. If they have the rules in here, usually it is in the top of there. If I click on here, sometimes it's a little challenging to find the rules. Discussion. You have to sometimes do a little bit of chasing down to see where those things are. In this case, I can't seem to find the rules anywhere in here. They haven't featured them. Well, here we go. There it is, under featured. Welcome to Polly Pockets, all things Polly Pockets. Join this page. And this is where you actually, in this case, there's a whole bunch of different ones. They also run Labyrinth, Disney, stickers, Cabbage Patch, all these different ones that they run. She-Ra only, girls only, Little Ponies. And so they usually have things that they put in here, post approvals, whether or not you're actually going to need to look at an item and say, like, this is how, there's a format to this one. There's some places that say this is the exact format you have to write in. You have to put things in an album, in a Hallmark group. So think about that. And so in this particular place, what I would be doing is I have this Polly Pocket set that's going in here. And I know that I want to put this Polly Pocket set in here. So I'm going to actually see if I can pop it in. So right at the very beginning here, I'm going to go to that top page, buy and sell. Some places you actually use it under the buy and sell tab. Others you can also put it onto the discussion. So if I want to go sell something, pop it in here. It will post it onto Marketplace as well, just so you know. So I'm going to drag and drop this and go down here where I have my photos of my Polly Pockets. Add those photos in. And they're going to add the photos here. And again, upload the photos directly from your phone. So it's just as easy to do it as it is from the other place. I don't want this photo in there. And then I'm going to go in with my title. This is kind of eBay-ish, the same kind of thing, right? You want to put the details in. You want to put descriptions, product tags, a location if you want. Now, again, some people will put it in here. Other people will put it in discussion, depending upon how the site goes. So the site could actually be something where I might actually just put in here something that is for sale on, like I can type this in under discussion and say Polly Pocket Hotel 35 US, and then go and do the all the details in here. So it's just a different way of looking at it. And that way, if I post it as a discussion, it's not showing up in Marketplace. And I'm trying to think of something. I don't have one that I can show you right off the bat that I have, that I've set up. Because I've done this. I do this in a number of different places. So I've done this under Polly Pocket. I've done this in fabric. I've done this in vintage things. I've done it in Barbies. All sorts of different things. So we can look at any of the groups that I visit. You can even go down the list. And when you're looking at it, take a look how other people are posting in here. So other people are posting in the Polly Pocket group. There you go. I'm selling off my Polly collection. This is what somebody's doing here. They've got pictures. And in this particular case, some of them say you have to have a picture with your name on it so that they know you're not fake. So they make sure you add little piece of paper, because then they know you're not grabbing somebody else's stuff. There's an easy one. This is obviously, this one is done as a description because the pricing isn't on the top. Bluebird seed jewel packet, shipping is $5. So again, it's something as simple as that. And a lot of times you will see some of them have messages underneath them that people are going to be commenting underneath that they're interested in this, or trying to find if I can find it. Here's a comment. Do you know what shipping would be? Somebody's asking about shipping outside the US on this bundle of the Harry Potter bundle. This one. So you, again, look at all the different sites that you've got. We do okay, Emily, on this. It literally, part of the challenge is the bigger the group and the more posts, the harder it is to be found. So when we're in a post, we've done some in like a fabric group and literally, or a vintage clothing group, and our post has just disappeared because there's 67,000 people in this group. And so the posts, see if I can find that one actually.
Now, have you ever bought anything from a Facebook group?
I bought stuff from Facebook group, yes.
I think that was the question. Do you get a lot of buys?
Oh, I thought get a lot of buys? Like, do we get a lot of buys
More sales.
or sales? I guess
I
yeah.
read it the other way. Sorry.
Here's one: vintage clothing and accessories. 36,000 people are members of this group, and I thought I would put some stuff in here because of that. So these people are doing live sales even on here. That's the other thing is you can check. But there's a photo. 10 minutes, I've got live sales. Here's a maxi dress.
Yeah, the nice thing about the groups is that it's a built-in audience.
Yeah.
And it's very niche. And Craig and I actually had that discussion last week before our ephemera show on Whatnot. And it's like, where should we list this? Where should we list that?
Here's a perfect example. Debbie Cantrell, an hour ago, listed this jewelry. Sold. She had to update it already. Sold. And underneath it, there's 3 comments. Claim. Sold. So that's something that sold right away. And there's a pending sale.
Was that Poochie? Go back up.
Charlie Brown outfit, pending sale. So again, there's another sale. So part of the thing is we've tried stuff on here and we haven't had any sales. It literally, it's one of those things you just kind of take your chances on. But again, if you're building something that you're going to be potentially putting on eBay or potentially putting on Etsy, you can copy and paste everything. So we actually have had stuff that's on Etsy that we've ended, and then we've copied the exact description and put it into one of our groups and sold it in a group.
Yeah, I think I recall when you were doing a lot of Facebook Marketplace and group postings that you actually did all of your descriptions in a Word document.
Yeah. So I can copy and put them anywhere I want.
From the Word document into whatever platform.
Can you use a link to the item in your eBay store in the Facebook groups? You have to check every individual Facebook group for its individual rules. Some love it. Some will not allow it. Some will boot you from the group if you decide you want to put a Facebook link in. But I'm in other groups that it's just people listing their Facebook links or their eBay links.
Yeah, I think, again, it depends on the community
and the administrator
group. Like for example, on our Canadian resellers group, we
don't allow
external links. However, we do make allowances if people are really active in our group and they've contributed and they're helpful and they're part of the community. There can be that tit for tat.
Yeah, there's one group I'm in right now where I wanted to put a post to a Whatnot sale that I was doing for strawberry shortcake, and they wouldn't let me put a post to a Whatnot sale, but they accept eBay and Etsy posts. So I couldn't get the argument through that it's the same thing because they just didn't know what Whatnot was, and so they wouldn't let me post. There's another group that will not let you post anything other than them. There's people who say our group, you're not even allowed to cross post. So you couldn't put something in vintage Toronto, vintage lamps, vintage lighting. They will say, no, if you're in vintage lighting, you can't be in anywhere else. So again, it's a little bit of work, but it also gives you an idea. You can take a look at that group, join the group, and then just watch how things go in that group and see if it's going to be worth your while. That's one of the reasons I challenge everybody in craft to try and take a look at that. Just to say, if there's something you've got, see if it'll work. And this is the one thing we're always trying to challenge everybody to do. Take a chance and try something once. If it doesn't work, that's great. But you're not going to say, I'm never going to do Facebook because it's not for me. It's like, well, you haven't tried this way of doing it. And what happens if you post something and all of a sudden you're getting sales? Then you're like, oh, I didn't realize it was like that. And I guess that's where it will lead into the last thing of the night, which is Whatnot, which is, again, our now sort of secondary preferred next to Max Sold. We have Whatnot shows, as you can see, coming up. And the thing that we love about Whatnot is it's so easy to do anything in. When you want to build an actual show, I will refresh this because I'm already going to refresh this to show you this. Boom, there's our book sale. And with this book sale, I can go into this, and this is how easy it is. I do this all on my desktop. There's nothing sitting in here right now. To add something in, I can add, quick add, and I can call this, and this happens to be a Taschen 1930s, 1940s decorative art book. So I'm going to type the name, and it's going to be 1930s decorative art. passion. This is all I'm putting in here. I'm not putting in anything else. It's an auction. I'm going to start the auction at $30. Shipping profile, this particular thing actually weighs, this is medium mail, but this shipping profile actually, this weighs 3 pounds. And then to add photos, again, boom, I'm going right here. I'm adding all of these photos, and they're all being added right now into Whatnot.
Yeah, but really, you should just add one.
I know, but again, I could add just one photo in, and then I'm confirming. Now that item is going to sit right there. It's in our auction, ready for us to go.
So if you go to the Two Dogs Digs Whatnot page and look at that particular show, you will see that that's already in the auction category.
Renee. I'm so glad she had a spot. She got us into the book show today. So that's on Saturday. So yeah. So again, we got our, right now we also have our Monster High show that's being built right now. So we're going in there, and after we finish this show, we're building all our items in there. And this is all we're putting in. This is 13 Wishes Frankie. We've got one picture of her. Because when we go and do this live, we're going to be showing all these things. We have buy it nows in here. We have giveaways in here. And there's a new section which they're going to start, which is offers too. So they just actually announced that they're going to start allowing you anything you have in buy it now is going to show up in their marketplace. And the things that show up in their marketplace, you're actually going to be able to say, I'll accept offers on them. That actually officially came through like 2 hours ago. So, and that's the other thing too. Yeah. As Renee said here, people can pre-bid. So now that item, and I'll actually show you a perfect idea here in the auction.
Your screen isn't big enough, sweetie.
Thank you. In the auction. There we go. There we go. Uno. Pre-bid of $10. It's already got, I can't make it that big. It's already got a pre-bid in there for the Uno game that we had listed for $10. So before the auction's even started, somebody can actually bid on this. Do you have to do that for each item you want to sell, or can you do a collage? You can do a collage on Whatnot. The thing that you can do a collage on a lot of the things on the Facebook groups, you can do a collage as well. But one of the neat things is you don't even have to do anything. What we've actually done, and if you watch our Monster High show, you'll see we actually have things listed in here that have no photos. Choice of doll. And we actually take the photo as we're about to do the thing. So we actually hold the items up to the screen, because when we're live, like most people will be on Whatnot right now, we can check into anybody who's up there right now and take a look at one of their things. So right now they're live, they're showing everything. So they could put a picture of that item up right this second, take a picture of that goose. They can add the item into auction, and boom. So again, the Whatnot side of things, we just want people to think about exploring just a little bit more. Because again, it is an easy way for you to sell, but look how easy it was to list. So it doesn't take any time, and then it's all about selling and shipping, as opposed, so you're live doing stuff. So we'll try and see if we can do some, but again, the best way to do it is to take a look at us on Whatnot. Our link is it's in the words, actually, at the summary for this up top. And it's a $10 credit to you, and we get $10 too. But if you sign up and you buy something, so you can see on here what you can do on Whatnot. So we're on Thursday. Watch us. Follow other people. You can follow anybody who's got a Whatnot page. So we also promote those things in the craft group as well. So take a look at that, and hopefully you've got a couple of different ideas today on how you can learn about listing, how we've done. Whatnot's percentage works out to roughly 15%. As long as you're selling things, it's 8%. Just so you know, it's 8% for Whatnot's fees. Then it's 2.9% plus 30 cents for the which is the processing fee. So that's actually
every single individual thing that you sell.
Yeah,
you sell 30 items, you're going to be charged that 2 whatever percent
9 and the 30 cents every time. So
per item.
We have got a video that you can see that is all about listing on Whatnot that you can see if you check our YouTube channel as well. And then, yeah, Renee's comment is eBay has so many descriptions and photos. You can post 10 in Whatnot listing time versus 1 on eBay. And that's very true. But again, we always say find the platform that works the best for you. Our Whatnot is great, but we're selling things at 25 to 40% lower than we're selling them on eBay. There's items that we will not put on Whatnot because there's no way I'm going to try and sell it for that kind of lowness. I'm going to get the money I want. I will never try and put, for example, that Richard Burton picture up there. It's just not going to go there. Even with the things for our Monster High show that's coming up, I've got dolls on there that would sell on eBay for 85. I'm going to try and sell it for 75 on Whatnot, but I'm not going to put it at 40. A lot of people on Whatnot are depressing their rates way too much. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to set yourself low, because if you sold something for $1, you're paying 50 cents in fees.
If not more.
If not more.
I thought it was 56 cents in
fees. It is, yeah, depending on what it is, it can be. So again, take a look at Whatnot. Again, follow a couple people in there, take a look, ask your friends what it is. And again, it's another way for you to potentially take something and list and maybe make some money. We've sold over $3,000 on Whatnot since the beginning of this year. We've sold over $3,000 on eBay since the beginning of this year. We've sold over $3,000 on Max Sold since the beginning of this year. We've only sold about $250, actually about $400 worth on Etsy since the beginning of this year. So out of $10,000,
we only have 50 listings.
Yeah, actually, we've sold more on eBay than that, I think. But it is still, it's a very valid platform. So take a look at those platforms. Think about it in a different way. Try something you may not have tried. Again, just try it once. It's all we ask you to do is try it once or twice, maybe 3 times, and then decide if it's for you or not for you. But don't say it's not for you because you never tried it. That's just the hard thing to do. So hopefully, thank you for following us here at Two Dogs Digs. We hope you enjoyed this. Take a look at our other videos. There's tons of videos. How to do flat rate shipping. How to sell on eBay Canada or US from Canada. How to sell on Whatnot. Renee from Rat Stash and Franklin Hill Ventures did a show with us a couple of weeks ago, and it's talking to 2 other people besides us who sell on Whatnot, who also sell in other places. Like Franklin Hill sells in 3 or 4 different antique malls. So, but they're also on Whatnot. So it's just a different way to look at things. And again, find ways for you to make more money, especially when you get something where eBay is slow and nothing's happening for you. Maybe it's time for you to test the waters some other place. How to sell on eBay from Canada. Best video ever. Thanks, Kendra.
We should probably do an update for that.
I'm going to have to update a bunch of our videos. So again, thanks to everybody who is a member here who's joined us in the Kennel Club. $2.99 a month, and we'll get you access to that. I'll make sure we post it in Craft, the access to how you get to the research deck that shows you that. And we'll be talking some more next week. Don't know what our topic will be, but you never can tell. I think next week we'll do a research thing, a little bit of research, but not give it all away. Woof. I'm Bad Dog, and
I'm Good Dog. Out of the basement, Good Dogs.
Yeah. And now time to get listing, because I got a whole bunch of books I got to get ready for. Thanks, Renee.
Where are we going to find them? I don't.
Oh, I know where they are now. I found them right after I told Renee I couldn't do the show.
Oh, thank goodness. We'll retrieve them from the profit pile.
Yes, out of the profit pile. Bye, everyone.
Bye, kids.